Hi guys, KP this side. Hope all of you are doing good. This is vlog number 64 in decoding equity markets with KP, and got a little late in making this video because of some personal commitments. Had to take both my kids for their vaccination today in the morning time, so my morning and afternoon was occupied for that. I had to look into the questions which you people have asked me. I had to prepare myself for that. So I got a little late today. Nevertheless, what are we discussing today? First, I will give you a brief up about what happened last week based on our predictions and how the indices played last week. Then news from China, news from US, a little from India, some good news is there. How indices are placed, followed by the questions which you got. So it might exceed 30 minutes of standard time which I devote for my video. It might exceed that, but rest assured this is gonna be a very knowledgeable video for you. Okay, so watch it till the end, have some patience, learn equity markets, learn the art of investing in equity if you want to survive in this market. I always say this because I am sick and tired of the stupidity which I hear in equity markets, and then I only get more and more encouraged and motivated to make more videos so that to some extent if people can benefit from it. I hope someday we can reach out to more people. At this point of time it's not happening, but I'm not losing my hope. I'm going to continue making these videos. I think this is now almost 5 months that we are doing videos, and someday probably we will reach out to more people for them to understand how the mechanism is for equity markets, rather than having wrong notions, wrong understanding, wrong expectations from this market, which eventually will throw you out of the market, if you understand what I mean. Okay, what happened last week? We can again give a pat on my back that very simply I told you very clearly Nifty probably has more chances of sustaining 19,500 levels, respecting those levels, and it can stay sticky in the range of 19,500 to 19,800. It did make some attempts of going above 19,800 but did not succeed in that. So eventually Nifty was anywhere between 19,500 to 800 during the last week. Some good results, some big company results were declared for TCS, HCL Tech and Infosys, especially from the IT sector. Results apparently were not bad. It met the expectations, or it was better than expectations, but guidance is still not very encouraging, and that is the reason why you saw some correction in the stocks of TCS and Infosys. HCL Tech, on the other hand, based on what street estimations was, it has done better than that. So Friday we saw that HCL Tech was trading a little higher. Understood? So this is about the IT sector stocks. I told you right now I would put Dow Jones and Nifty on the same balance beam, and I personally feel they are right now highly correlated positively. So if one is performing, the other will perform, but if one is struggling, the other will not perform. So basically right now Nifty's performance for me is a function of how Dow Jones is playing. So last week on Thursday the inflation data was supposed to come out, not a very good data. I'll discuss more on that a little later, but based on that, Dow Jones was still able to sustain between 33,200 to 33,800 levels, but I told you it has to go past 33,800 and into a positive trajectory, which is only at 34,200. Did not happen. In fact, it failed to hold on to 33,800 on Friday. Is that a matter of concern? Yes, to some extent it's a matter of concern for me, because I told you guys only below 33,200 is where I start feeling jittery and I start feeling negative or bearish about the markets. till the time it is respecting that strong support at 33,200 levels, I am okay with the Dow Jones. But at the same time, 3 or 4 times it has failed to hold on to 33,800 levels, and only when it is able to convincingly cross 33,800 is when the journey towards 34,200 will start, and that is when you can expect Nifty to go past 19,800 levels. I hope I am making sense, guys, right? So let's hope all this happens before Diwali, because Diwali is a big celebration for all of us. So we hope Diwali brings in something good for us, but don't be over optimistic about markets. I feel the last previous high which we did, I think it was around 20,600 mark, will not be broken easily now. I think for this year, probably we have already done a high, and breaking those levels will require some very strong push from Dow Jones. Nifty independently, one side move, chances are less. That's what I'm saying, okay? You cannot rule out anything from the markets, but chances are, we can only talk about the probabilities. So probability, in my eyes, is less. That's my humble opinion. Okay, so this was market last week, guys. I'll get back to indices again little later on. How about China? Some good news, some bad news. But like I have told you for last 5 months, China is consistently taking efforts to revive its economy, and that for me matters a lot. If the government is sensitive, the regulators are trying their level best to make the covenants a little eased out. If the government is trying their level best to cut down on some taxes or mortgage cost or interest cost just to revive the economy, sometime or the other it will happen. But again, I have always told you that for China, things are not as simple as it seems. Just 1 or 2 stimulus and the economy will revive, not happening, because it's the second largest economy in the globe. It will take its own time. Consumer price, which for them they want it to go up. You see, the China and US right now are playing completely opposite. They're completely playing contrasting to each other. Where US wants its CPI, consumer price index, to go down, China on the other hand wants its CPI to go up. Where US is continuously increasing interest rates, China is continuously reducing interest rates. Where US is into an inflationary environment right now, China is in a disinflationary environment. So they're playing completely contrast. So consumer prices, they flatlined in September after rebounding in the month of August. So when we got some good news in the month of August, where the consumer prices were going up, which signifies that there is some demand picking up in the economy, which for any economy going through disinflation is very important. That didn't happen in case of in the month of September. Higher interest rates in US and Europe will keep China exports under pressure. That we clearly understand. When the entire Europe, the US, when the interest rates are constantly high, some demand for Chinese products is going to stay low. At this point of time, lower exports for China is not acceptable, because that will again put them under fiscal deficits. If not fiscal deficits, at least their revenues are getting lost on that front. When their local consumption is also low and then they suffer on front of exports also, that's not a good sign, right? IMF has lowered China growth this year and next year. So this year they are predicting their growth as 5% as against 5.2% which they predicted in the month of July. So again, they have cut down their growth only by 20 basis points, but they have cut the growth projections. That is important. And for next year, they have cut down the projections to 4.2% as against earlier prediction of 4.4%. At the same time, IMF has cut down the average global growth rate for 2024 to 2.9% as against their earlier prediction of 3%. Now, obviously, if the countries like China and US do not participate in the growth, then overall average growth rate has to come down. This we understand because of the fact that these are the two most strong economies in the globe. Outbound shipment from China fell by 6.2% in September. August also it fell, but August fall in outbound shipment, which means kind of exports which they are doing, it fell by 8.8% in the month of August, but in September it has still fallen by 6.2%. Their imports have dropped by 6.2% in September. August decline was 7.5%. So both their imports and exports are going down. However, just like I have my opinion that government and regulators are very confident that they will be successful in reviving their economy. They are not going to back out. They are not going to take it lightly. They will keep doing whatever possible for them to revive their economy. They are doing it. Like for example, they have properties are seeing some difficulties right now, because of which they have given the project the builders and the project contractors, they have given them this freedom that they can give more discounts on properties, just to push out their old inventories. Plus a lot of interest related or mortgage related covenants have been softened by them. They have made the policies more liberal for buying of houses. All these I have discussed in my previous videos, but they are getting more and more aggressive about it, because one thing is for sure, if Chinese economy has to pick up, it has to come from the property segment, because that contributes 30% of their total revenue, right? Based on that, efforts are being seen, and both Citi and Nomura, they have raised their GDP forecast for China. Citi has raised forecast for China's third quarter GDP growth rate to 4.3%. Okay. And yearly growth at 5%. Nomura GDP forecast to 4.8%. Nomura has done their GDP forecast of 4.8%. Earlier they were forecasting 4.6%. So third quarter, Citi is expecting that the growth rate of GDP will be 4.3% for China, and overall growth rate for the year will be 5%. And Nomura earlier were predicting a GDP growth rate of 4.6%. Now they are anticipating that China will be able to recover, and they may register a GDP growth rate of 4.8%. So overall, if you see, a lot of brokerages are getting positive on China, especially because government is showing a lot of confidence, right? How about US, guys? So US had a crucial data to come on Thursday, because Thursday their inflation numbers were supposed to come. The jobs being created in the month of September, which I already told you in my last video, in the month of September the number of jobs being created were more than what economists were anticipating. Now they wanted their CPI numbers to tone down a little bit, so that they have some hope that inflation can within next 3 to 6 months come within their targeted zone of 2%. But now again, the consumer price index was slightly higher than anticipated, and that is what has kept the market off the edge. US consumer price came in higher than expected in September. The CPI, consumer price index, rose 3.7% year on year in September. It went up by in August by it went up in August also by 3.7%. September also was 3.7%, but they were anticipating it to be 3.6% in the month of September. So it's slightly higher, not much. CPI was up by 0.4% compared to August. Economists estimated 0.3% gain. Okay, so overall, if you see, their CPI numbers have been slightly higher than what they were anticipating. Now, what does this mean? If CPI is high, what does that mean? That means that somewhere their inflation is getting sticky. The inflation is not toning down even after 2 decades high interest rates. Now the interest rates are sitting in the range of 5.25 to 5.5%. And the lot of resilience is being shown by the economy, where jobs created are more than estimations, CPI is more than estimations. So what exactly is government going to do from here on? So that's what everybody is predicting, that maybe Federal Reserve will go for one more rate hike somewhere in the month of November or December. That is what we all are thinking about. Probably, if I feel so much has been talked about this particular thing, that I feel even if a 0.25% rate hike happens, instead of feeling dejected about it, markets would celebrate it कि चलो ये लास्ट एक एक्सपेक्टेशन था रेट हाइक होने का, वो भी हो गया, यहाँ से तो मार्केट में कुछ खराब नहीं हो सकता है. That's what, right? But then you have a lot of pessimistic people out there who say अभी कुछ नहीं हुआ, next year will be difficult. Yeah, it can be difficult. I am not saying it cannot be difficult. But सर आपने तो पिछले साल बोला था ये साल difficult होगा, तो ये साल difficult नहीं हुआ, तो next year difficult होगा. You understand what I'm saying? So, but that's how life goes on, right? पिछले साल you could not do well, then what are your expectations? Think next year something good will happen, or something bad did not happen last year, so you say maybe next year something bad can happen. But that's how life goes on. So what's the point of you being an economist or you being an expert in this field if that's how you predicted something very bad can happen for US economy this year? That's what you were talking, right, last year. Abhi suddenly you are saying this year economy is showing a lot of resilience even at 5.5% of interest rates. And you feel one more 0.25% rate hike can probably change things. How? What is the rocket science hidden behind this which we are not able to decode? I don't understand that. And now suddenly you feel nahi next year problems आएगा. अरे कभी ना कहीं तो problems आना है. Probably next year China would think of taking over Taiwan. Maybe that can happen. Then you have another geopolitical tension, and that is when probably markets will correct. Crude oil prices will go up, inflation will go up, countries will be forced to increase their interest rates or sustain their interest rates at a higher rate, throwing their economies into recession, not allowing them to go for a soft landing. Then you will say, देखो मैंने तो पहले ही बोल दिया था ये होगा. I know you people, exactly what you talk. IMF, good news for India. IMF is predicting India growth to remain strong in 2023-24. IMF has predicted that next 10 years, India's growth engine will be moving ahead very fast. So you know what exactly you're supposed to do for next 10 years. You know that, right? Buy good stocks. Buy good stocks. Have less greed. Learn to understand one thing. If you can make a moderate return in equity markets, moderate का मतलब होता है 15% on a higher side. You get anything more than 15 is called alpha returns. It's called abnormal returns. It's called beating the indices. It's called outperformance. तो सीधा first expectation outperformance का नहीं होना चाहिए आपका. Have your expectations at a humble level, and that is when you will sustain this market. Don't be very greedy. In Punjabi we have a kahavat. There is an adage in Punjabi, we say, ज़्यादा मुंह अड्डोंगे तो मक्खियाँ पैणगियाँ. Okay, so I'll tell you what exactly this means. This means if you open your mouth too much in greed that you can eat more and more at one go, then houseflies will go inside your mouth. Understood? So this is what we say in Punjabi. So basically what we say is that don't be greedy, because when you're greedy you tend to lose rather than making something in the equity markets. Okay. So IMF predicts India growth to remain strong in 23-24, 6.3% growth against 6.1% which they earlier predicted. Now they are anticipating India will grow faster. This is not that important, guys. What's more important is that IMF has made this statement very clear that next 10 years India is going to grow at a pace much faster than global other countries across the globe. Increased consumption, infra spending is going to boost the economy. And there are two tensions which can make this ride a little bumpy. One is inflation, one is geopolitical tensions. Geopolitical tensions till last year, 2022 beginning, we did not even know exist, right? And by 2020 beginning, we did not even know if there is something called as pandemic. So now things have become like this, that markets have to gift us something which is unexpected. You were not expecting a pandemic kind of a situation which last happened in 1920, I think. After that, it happened after 100 years. We are very fortunate to experience this. Sarcastically, I'm saying that. And so when you become old, grandfather, you can tell those stories, right? Everything was closed. Not even a person can be seen on the roads. Everybody was house arrested. If you go down, police will beat you with a baton on your legs. No food, no groceries. We had to survive on what was there in the fridge. You can just make it like a Ram Gopal Verma movie also, adding some suspense and horror and some thrill to it. So yes, this is always a big element in equity markets. Geopolitical tensions or macroeconomic scenario going haywire, these things will always have an impact on the equity markets, but in long run markets will overcome all these things, right? Okay guys, now coming to indices, how are we placed? Dow Jones at 33,670, it went up to 33,957 on Friday but did not sustain. Any closing above 33,800 would have would have made me feel happy, but it didn't happen. Now, if it didn't happen, then what are you supposed to do? Till the time it is not convincingly crossing 34,200 mark, I would suggest keep your positions light. डिलीवरी में अगर शेयर्स है, नो वरीज, थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे हो रहा है, होने दीजिए, कोई टेंशन नहीं है. डिलीवरी बेस्ड शेयर्स, यू नीड नॉट वरी. एफएनओ में you just continue with what you have and be watchful. Have your put protection always there, and don't see every dip in the market as an opportunity. Not at this point of time, guys. Go slow. Nasdaq above 13,000. I've told you very clearly till the time Nasdaq is not breaking on the downside 12,800. I'm very comfortable with Nasdaq, and I'm very happy that the fact that even after all this fall in the Dow Jones, Nasdaq has been able to hold on to its levels, which is good. Nifty at 19,751 gives me a clear feeling that for next week also, probably next week, we will still be range bound with 19,800, 850 being the upside cap. And on the downside, I don't know how it is going to play from here on. Everything depends on how Dow Jones is. If Dow Jones get very weak, then probably we are again heading towards 19,600 levels. Otherwise, I think we will be sticky in this zone, and I will be really surprised if Dow is still struggling with 33,800, but Nifty on the higher side goes to the levels of 20,000. If that happens, guys, if that happens, where Dow Jones is not going past 34,200, but Nifty has gone to 20,000 odd levels, wahan pe you have to become more cautious. Nifty, you understand one thing right now, Nifty has to justify its movement based on how Dow is playing. I know this sounds a little what do I say? You don't like this statement as an Indian, right? That why should my markets, IMF ne acha rating diya hai, my companies are coming up with good numbers. Why is it that you are always saying that Dow Jones has to support? Because guys, this is how markets work. We are heavily dependent on the global indices, especially Dow Jones. So US ki taraf se hi some support has to come in. Plus this war which is going on right now between Hamas and Israel, that is still playing on our heads, so keeping everybody on the sidelines of the fence, because now see Iran and Iraq are supporting Hamas in this case. So till now, when Israel has gone very, very ruthlessly against Hamas, they are attacking them from all fronts, but no major support has been coming in from Iran or Iraq. But if that happens, if suddenly support starts coming in, right now verbally everything is happening. US and UK are saying we support Israel. Iran, Iraq is saying we support Hamas. So suddenly if the support comes in from the side of Iran and Iraq, where they start sending in troops to fight, retaliate, then the war may extend. And if the war extends, then again it will put us on the sidelines as far as markets are concerned. You understood my point? So right now, go slow. Naya paisa bhi mat lagaiye. If you're doing SIPs, that is fine. You can continue with that. But right now, it's better to be a little watchful. And we also have to see we were very happy. Crude went up till $95 per barrel. It then dropped down to 80 to 83. फिर वहाँ से फिर एक बार ऊपर जाके 86, 87 पे आ गया. If war continues for some more time, then maybe it will again start moving upwards. There are things to be worried about, right? So we don't want to, plus we are not getting support from Dow also. So all these things are playing. I don't want to go into too much of details of it. इसलिए मैं simple रखने के लिए आपको क्या बोलता हूँ कि आप Dow का movement देखिए, उससे निफ्टी को पकड़ने का कोशिश करिए. Oh, understood? Okay. In total, a lot of you had common questions. So I have taken down 9 questions in front of me. I'll answer them. Okay. Harshal is asking me how hedging can be done in case of a situation like now which we have, that is a war, and post results. But he is very specific. He is talking about hedging his cash market portfolio, that is delivery portfolio. So Harshal, see, there are 3 different strategies which you can use for hedging yourself. P plus matlab put buy karenge, or you will sell a call, or you will sell a future. Because delivery mein you have purchased everything. Now if you feel that a war is happening because of which markets can fall down, so you can buy a put option. Let's say in your portfolio you are having Infosys at 1400 rupees. Right now Infosys is trading, let's say, at 1450, and suddenly this war news comes in on a weekend. Monday morning, what do you want to do? Monday morning you can take a put option of Infosys at 1400. If you have Reliance in your portfolio, you can also take a Reliance ka put option. But this is not as simple as it sounds. क्योंकि problem क्या होता है? Cash market में suppose you have 100 shares of Infosys, but the moment you want to buy one put option of Infosys, then Infosys put will come in a lot size, right? Specified lot size. Now for Infosys, the lot size is 400. So it means you will end up over hedging yourself because you have 100 shares in delivery based market. But if you take a put option, you are paying money for 400 shares. So it becomes difficult to justify the cost which you are paying because the cost you are paying is for 400 shares. So same lot size will be applicable for put option. Same will be applicable for a call option, or even if you go short on futures, the same lot size will be applicable. So because of this, an apple for an apple नहीं हो पाता है. मतलब आपने Infosys का shares खरीदा हुआ है तो आपने Infosys का put ले लिया, ऐसा हो नहीं पाता है. Because most of the times your quantity which you are holding in delivery market will be less than the lot size which is applicable for a future. Then sir, what is my alternative? If you see, the thing is, if you feel Infosys right now is at 1450, so one thing that you can do is you can buy a put option at 1400, but the cost of put is very high because you are buying it for 400 shares. तो आप क्या कर सकते हो? 1500 1520 का एक call sell कर सकते हो अब on a higher price, because it means you are saying that if it goes down you are protected by a put, but it will not go above 1520 because you think markets are already pressurized because of bad results or because of a war going on. So you feel on a higher side it will not go very high. So you can sell a call. If you sell a call, you will get premium. So whatever you pay for put to some extent is recovered from call. So this is one strategy which can be used. A very aggressive strategy can be that you immediately sell a future of a stock or of the index like Nifty. मतलब आपको लग रहा है बस बैड न्यूज आया है, सम बैड न्यूज हैज कम एंड यू वांट टू एक्सप्लॉइट इट बिकॉज कैश मार्केट में आपका 10-15 लाख का पोर्टफोलियो है. You know that markets can fall by 5-6%. Let's say if your portfolio also falls by 5%, 6%, let's say you have a 20 lakhs ka portfolio, market falls by 6%, 6% fall on 20 lakhs is almost like 1,20,000. So that's a huge notional loss for you, right? Notional loss. क्योंकि मार्केट गिरेगा तो पोर्टफोलियो में मतलब your portfolio value will go down by that much. So one strategy that you can use is you can go short on futures. Maybe not stock specific futures because again lot size problem will be there. Then you can go short on Nifty. You can go short on Bank Nifty, or you can buy a put of Nifty and Bank Nifty. So these are the different combinations which you can use. Now in this limited time frame which I have, the entire spreads which can be created with options or futures or combination of both, or combination of call and put, or combination of call, put and stock. This is very, very wide area of discussion, and no cross selling guys, no cross selling, but this is exactly what you learn in Equipedia course. I have given a lot of examples in Equipedia course, and all these strategies which are there in futures, कब क्या सोचना है, किस समय कौन सा strategy use करना है, all this I have covered in my Equipedia course. Okay, you know I don't cross sell my products, right? You know that. Okay, I hope I answered Harshal based on this limited time which I had. I can't go further on discussing this. Okay, if you have anything specific, drop me a message. I'll try to answer you. Next is Harsh. Harsh is asking me why large cap stocks are not participating. Harsh, I think I already answered that in my last video. SIPs coming in Indian economy right now are very high. 16,000 crores coming in every month. On an average, 13,000 crores is coming in every month in SIP mode. Most of these SIPs, they focus on mid cap and small cap stocks. Large cap bhi hai, but maximum people want to go for mid cap and small cap, because when people see the historical returns, no, small cap, mid caps at this juncture have done better, because in last 5 years, overall markets have gone on a higher side. After that fiasco which happened during pandemic, markets have gone very high. From those 7,500 levels of Nifty, it has gone past 20,000. During these times when markets are ultra bullish, mid cap, small caps outperform. So right now people are putting in more of their SIPs in mid cap and small cap. Let's not go into the discussion whether that is a good decision at this point of time or not. That's a different topic of discussion. But that is what people are doing. On the other hand, FPI is continuously selling in India because of the geopolitical situation or whatever dynamics are playing right now, keeping people a little insecure about markets. So people are FPIs are selling, and FPI holds mostly large cap stocks. So when they start selling stocks, or even if they sell Nifty, mainly the large cap stocks will suffer. So I understand the pain right now, because even in case of my clients, most of them are holding good shares like HDFC Bank or Reliance or Infosys, and these stocks are not participating in the rally, although indices is looking at all-time high. So that gives you even more insecurity कि कुछ गलत तो नहीं हो रहा है मेरे से, कुछ गलत नहीं है. This is in fact the right time to put your money in large cap stocks. Same question is being asked by Sarvesh. Why Reliance and HDFC are not performing? I think I already answered you. HDFC Bank results are supposed to come, Sarvesh. I hope the results will be good. Plus that, you know what happened because of that merger which HDFC Limited. Now we don't know how their NPA will look, gross NPA, net NPA. Will there be more non-performing assets, or what will be their operating margins? All those things, because for the first time probably they will be publishing their results on consolidated basis. But अगर आप मेरे को पूछोगे, if you ask me, I personally feel HDFC Bank in the range of 1500 to 1600, anywhere between this range, is a beautiful stock to add to your portfolio. Beautiful stock. It may test your patience, but let it test, yaar. Let it test. Let it be there in your portfolio. Now you see, Sarvesh, I know why you are asking me this question. Let's be very clear about it. You are holding Reliance and HDFC Limited ka futures. Sarvesh, you be rest assured you are holding on to two top-notch stocks in your futures. You be happy about the fact that you are not holding Tom, Dick, Harry stocks in your futures, yaar. You feel good that your strategies are very good. Whoever is designing your strategies, Sarvesh, is doing it very good for you. Okay. Sarvesh, if you got my point, you please drop me a message that whatever I was saying was making sense to you. Okay. Nagendra and Radhika both have a same question. Adverse effect of current conflict between Israel and Hamas. I already answered that, I think, towards the end of my indices discussion, that this war, if it continues for prolonged period, probably crude prices can go up, which can again tickle up the inflation, which can again put already struggling economies in problems. Plus, suddenly if somebody outrightly starts coming and supporting either of the sides, it involves more and more nations into the war, which we don't want. Like right now, the Russia and Ukraine war is going on, but it now has little less impact for one simple reason, because directly nobody has come in support of Ukraine, and Russia does not want anybody's support. But you understand the ripple effect of it, right? The sanctions being put on Russia, Russian oil, Russian gas. So all those things, they do play a role in the overall macros of the global economy. So if this war sustains for a very long period of time, then we might see its impact. Or if somebody comes into this war situation, then I'm sorry. Otherwise, I think at this point of time, I think if you would have seen Monday markets reacted, but by Tuesday, everything got fine. So I think, yes, we have to be watchful, like I told you. But immediately, I don't see that it will have a very negative impact on the markets. Radhika also asked me, how about India-Canada relations? Small heated arguments here and there will happen. There will be differences in opinion. Yes, they did talk a little. They were sounding very stupid when they were asking India to help in finding out the murderer of the Khalistani leader. So they got a good reply for that, right? And you understand, right now Canada is more dependent on India rather than India being dependent on Canada. So उनको सोचने दीजिए कि उनको कैसे अपना रिलेशन इंडिया के साथ अच्छा करना है. Yes, any relation going for a toss is a loss situation for both the entities, but here they probably will have more losses to bear. And they made a statement very clear that they cannot under any circumstances afford to have bitter relation with India. They want their relations to be very, very good with Indian government, right? So they won't do anything stupid like that. Okay. Mihir is asking me views on TCS. Mihir, TCS results were declared last week. Results were okayish. Guidance is okayish, not very great. But if you would have seen, TCS already made its 52 weeks high before the results were even out. So a fresh entry at this point of time is not recommended. I don't personally suggest that. If you feel that suddenly TCS will go very high from here, I personally don't feel, because they are doing buyback of around 17,000, 18,000 crores. An acceptance ratio of, let's say, if probably everybody applies for a buyback, an acceptance ratio of 3% will hold good. That means out of every 100 shares, the company will be able to buy only 3 shares from you. How does that help me? How does that help me? How much premium are you paying compared to the current market price? 500 rupees. Holding 100 shares means I am having investments of 3,60,000. आप 3 शेयर लोगे मेरे से. at 500 rupees premium. You pay me 1500 rupees for holding shares of 3,60,000. 1500 rupees. You do your maths. And I remember you messaged me, right? You were holding some 5-6 lots of call options pre-results. Never do these kind of naked options here. This is sheer stupidity. Buying 6 lots of TCS before results. You're doing naked options. You're not even hedging yourself. At least when you bought the call options, you could have done a straddle strategy at that time. A straddle strategy is where you take a call also and you take a put also. At least you would have lost your money in call options, but put options you could have made your money, because the first day when the results were out, it fell by 60-70 rupees. Your put options would have made you good money on that particular day. Naked call खरीदने का क्या मतलब है? And boss, why don't you people understand? Results for retail participants is a news. Results only for retail participants is a news. For everybody else, it's already known to them. That is why even before the results were out, जिसको खेलना था खेल लिया, कमा के निकल गया, ऊपर के रेट में आपको फंसा के चला गया. Think about it. So no naked options, guys. Probably it's the worst thing you can do on earth. No naked options. You do some kind of, जैसे आपने suppose, or you can do a spread strategy, like you buy a 3600 call, then you do one thing, at least to cut down your cost, you go for a 3650, 3660 ka call selling. So buy a call at 3600, sell a call at 3660. So some cost is recovered, right? When you sell a call, you get some premium. Okay. Mayank is asking me my views on Dabur. Mayank, I feel Dabur is not bad. By the brand itself, you understand. But I am not comfortable buying it. Most of the FMCG stocks in my eyes are expensive. If I still have to pick up one out of these expensive stocks, I know ITC has shown a lot of upside, but I would still like to stick to ITC. You see, I have certain principles for investing. Dabur does not fall into that category. PE ratio greater than 50 times. Greater than 50 times. Price to book value greater than 11 times. Last 5 years, no significant growth in revenue, no significant growth in earnings. You see the numbers, you will understand what I'm saying. If you are already having it, you can have it, continue holding it, because a lot of correction has happened in the FMCG sector, and going forward, if economy has to do good, consumption story is going to be better. But fresh entry at this level, I won't suggest. See, just because I don't suggest something, it will not perform. ऐसा नहीं है. It can still perform. But what I have to do is, when I am investing in the markets, I have to do my analysis. Upside का probability कितना है, downside का chances कितना है, stable रहने का probability कितना है. That is the kind of maths I have to do. So if I see there is a less opportunity on the upside, probably I will stay away from the stock. Understood? Lakhan is asking me, what about Rajesh Exports and VEDL? And he's also asking me, VEDL going for a demerger into 6 companies, how does that change their future? See, Rajesh Exports, I've already told you. For me, it's fundamentally a very good stock. Even I know you have acknowledged in your message to me that it's a very good stock with a good, you did your analysis, which is very nice, yeah. But I feel it is testing your patience right now. It is falling for no reasons. This is how this stock is. I have told you many a times, this stock probably has a very, what do we say, has a very unique pattern of its own behavior. Market बहुत तेज रहेगा, it will not perform. Markets नीचे रहेगा, ये ऊपर चले जाएगा. I think a fall below 480 is slightly a matter of concern, but for somebody, I have told you already, when I first suggested Rajesh Exports, I told you already that only if you can hold it for a very long time, you take it. So I'm not using it as a disclaimer. What I would suggest is, if it goes down below 400 is when you can think of participating in averaging the stock. मतलब अगर आपके पास 100 है तो आप 25 और ऐड कर सकते हैं. अगर आपके पास 200 है, maybe you can add up 25% of the quantity which you are exposed to. So if you have 200 shares, buy another 50. If you have 300 shares, buy another 75. Something like that, right? So continue holding on to it. There is nothing to fear about. I know a lot of people are getting tensed about holding Rajesh Exports, but I think percentage of downside risk is very limited in Rajesh Exports. और इतना टेंशन क्या लेना, नहीं अच्छा लगता बेच दीजिए यार, मेरे बोलने पे मत खरीदिए. Simple, because if you can't see, when I suggested Rajesh Exports, the first thing I told was, if you can hold it for a long time, then you definitely buy the stock, because one fine day it will shoot up to those levels. In fact, once it already did my target, after that I reiterated my buy on it. But if you don't listen to half the sentence which I say, which is that if you can hold on to it, No, I know people have problems. They can't hold on to anything. They want quick. क्विक नहीं है मार्केट में, जल्दी मिलने वाला कुछ नहीं है. The only thing you can get very fast in market is a fast exit from the market for having stupid, unrealistic expectations or meeting people who show you an unrealistic picture, a rosy picture in the markets. मेरे से हो नहीं पाएगा. I am a person of ethics. I can't do that. So if you still find people who can help you making very fast returns in the market, उनके पास जाइए और थोड़ा मेरे को भी हेल्प करिएगा. Help me also make some quick returns. So Vedanta again, Lakhan, I feel Vedanta, whether they do demerger or they do marriage of companies or they do divorce of companies, does not matter. Right now the concern for Vedanta is it's debt ridden. Lot of dividends they have paid in the past. Now that metal sector is struggling, so is Vedanta struggling. Because when you have too much of debt to pay, so your interest burden, your financial risk is very high. And in good times, it's okay, you can pay your interest cost. But in bad times, it becomes difficult. Second, when your debt matures, you want refinancing of your debt. All these are big concerns right now for Vedanta. Do I suggest to exit Vedanta? Not at all. If you have it, leke फंस गए तो रखिए उसको. It's not a company which is going to go down on its knees so early. It's one of the most powerful companies in India, backed up by the most powerful person who is very visionary and he knows what he does better than us. His experience in market is more than my age. So he knows the job, what is to be done. Probably a demerger can turn out to be useful. But what I'm trying to say is that this demerger is not going to solve the problem which Vedanta has. That is the fact that they are debt ridden, profits are shrinking, and refinancing is becoming difficult for them right now. So if you have it, you hold it. But if you think this is jaw-dropping levels where you should enter the stock just because it is going to do some kind of marriage, remarriage, divorce and all those things, don't buy it. Don't buy it. Last question, Shravan. Shravan is asking me how to hold nerves in real life and in market during difficult situations. Shravan, this is a very easy question you have asked me. How to hold your nerves. What do you mean by holding nerves? Tension. Whether I should take tension or not in any difficult situation in life. You take tensions. We all do. In fact, I also take a lot of stress about a lot of things. That is why I told you that I go to the gym. People ask me, how can you be so regular to gym? Why do you lift so heavy weights in the gym? For me, that is a stress buster. Spending time with my family is a stress buster for me. Weekends meeting my cousins is a stress buster for me. Daily going to do some kind of activity. Either I will go and play billiards or I will play table tennis. Do some activity, keep myself busy. The more busy you stay, the less you worry about things. And like I told you one thing, I've told this earlier also. When something really makes you feel tensed, you just ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth it to this extent where it can affect my health in a negative manner? It can turn out to be adverse for me. Probably most of the times, guys, the answer is no. Nothing on this planet is worth taking so much tensions that it can deprive you of your good life. I always firmly believe this, that if I have to see something, if I have to do some kind of introspection, I would always like to see all the good things which God has given me, all the blessings which God has given me. Because when I look around, I can always find more people who have much less than what I have been blessed with, even after knowing clearly that I probably did not deserve so much of it. Did you understand what I said? If you did not understand, you replay this video. You will always find many people around you. Just take out your car and randomly drive on the road for 5 kilometers. Do this exercise, guys. आप 5 किलोमीटर गाड़ी चलाइए. I have done this many a times in my life. Whenever I feel I am tensed, I am worried, my tensions are bigger than anybody can understand, you need a reality check, bro. You just go out, randomly drive on the roadside for 5 kilometers. Look around. Just see the struggle on the roads. People standing in queues to get into the bus. They are profusely sweating. They just have that much money that they can afford to pay fare of that auto rickshaw or of that minibus. They are hanging on the, the exits of the bus, where one slight mistake and their life is gone. And they do that every day just to reach their job. Just to reach their job, then do the labor and get paid almost like on wages. Labors. If they get paid on a particular day, then they can afford to have food for themselves and for their family and their kids. And they still have a smile on their face. What are you crying about? What are you worried about? Think about it. I know I am very spiritual, very philosophical. I don't discuss all these things because it makes the session very, very serious. But guys, I am seriously saying this. I strongly believe this. We got to be thankful for all we have. Just having this body, just having all the organs, 2 eyes, 2 ears, nose, hands, working condition, legs, that is a blessing. Disease free, a very big blessing, guys. Few days back I went to a cancer hospital where we met all the cancer. We met around 50 kids all suffering from cancer. What have they done? बड़े लोगों को कैंसर होता है, we say, oh, he's smoking cigarettes, he's having too much of दारू, because of which he got cancer. All bad habits यार. बच्चे ने क्या किया? छोटे छोटे बच्चे, 5 years, 6 years, they are suffering from cancer. They probably don't even know that they have a deadly disease like cancer. When we went to meet them, I realized how lucky we are. At least we have a life. So I'll be very honest with all of you. I have mood swings. I have times when I also feel very low. But then I know that wherever I am today, did I deserve this? Or did somebody else deserve more than me? I can find a lot of people who deserve much more than me. God still chose me. Then what gives me the rights of complaining? On what grounds am I complaining? By nature, we are all bloody greedy people out there. जितना मिलेगा उतना कम है. If you can be a different person, at least be refined with your thoughts. That makes you rich. Have time for people. A lot of people can have more money than you have. But can people have time like the way you have it for your family, you have it for your friends, you have it for people in need? That makes you filthy rich. Think about it. I can speak for hours on this because I'm trying to inculcate all this into my life. And when you understand all this now, your life will become very peaceful. Very peaceful. I don't know if I exactly answer your question, but I look at all these things and they keep me away from getting depressed or tensed. And they help me hold my nerve. Because I feel nothing is worth taking tensions. Life में जो भी भगवान ने दिया है अच्छा है. इसके अलावा we just have to pray for one thing, that all my loved ones, people I care about, emotionally attached to, they should stay healthy. That's all. If some mishap happens, God should have his blessings on us and we should come out of the difficult situations sooner than later. That's it. Let's keep it simple, guys. We're not running after anything. The only thing you run after is your good health. Do good. So the only place where there is no competition is to become a little more human. तो वो करते हैं ना पहले. Let's first try and do that. Let's try to get a little better at being human. Rest everywhere, there is a lot of competition, guys. But if you do this, you get rewarded big time. Who rewards you? Your karma. Chalo, with that I will end this video. I know I am getting a little like Sadhguru right now, but I have a lot of respect for him. I have a lot of respect for everybody who teaches me something in my life. That includes you people also, because I learn a lot from you also. Chalo, we'll keep making these videos, guys. Your thumbs up, your messages, your comments keeps me going. I know very few people are listening to my videos, very few people are seeing it, but I'm hopeful someday people will listen to me and they will understand they were missing some very great content for all these years. Chalo, bye bye, God bless all of you, stay bullish, cheers guys.